he did tell the manager that he has family out of town, but he has no way to get there. So when they told me that, I'm like skipping to the door going, I've got this. I know what I can do, because the city of Tempe, if you are getting evicted and you have family out of state, as long as they can call and verify that they'll take you, the city will pay for you to get there. So I thought, I've got this.
Welcome back to Around the Districts podcast. I'm Gabrielle Mazar, and on today's episode, I have Karyn Lathan. She's the Constable of the University Lakes Justice Precinct. She was elected in 2018 and re-elected in 2022. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you. Let's get started first by what area does your precinct serve?
Okay, absolutely. I'm in University Lakes Justice Precinct, which is different than LDs and all that. I actually have 3 LDs in my area.
Okay.
So mainly I'm Tempe, everything from Warner all the way up to Scottsdale, rural east, and up until Broadway. Then it comes down to Mill Avenue east and everything on the other side of 202. They're about to give me a new area, which is Dobson Ranch area, and then a little bit more of the ASU. So I'm expanding, but that's basically my precinct.
Okay.
Half of Tempe.
So I'm sure most people have no idea what a constable does. Can you explain to us what a constable does?
Sure. In fact, when I was first asked to run, I thought constables were that of Wild West. So what a constable does, we are elected position, and we're elected because we actually we're able to remove someone from their house, and they want someone who is part of the community. So I have to live in the district that I serve.
Okay.
And so a constable, we are the law enforcement arm of the justice court. Now, the justice court is everything $10,000 or below, which comes in with a lot of evictions.
Okay.
I do orders of protections, injunctions against harassment, summons, subpoenas, but most of my day is doing evictions. So that's, with the issues going on with homelessness, and I'm the one that does evictions, so I take a look at the situation and make sure that they have resources. In fact, today I just dealt with 2 gentlemen who were in their 90s, and one had open heart surgery, and but they hadn't paid their rent in 3 months, so they had to leave. But I had to call in. Extra from Care 7 came and helped out. So pretty much what a constable does is evictions.
Okay. So that comes with a lot of sad stories, I'm sure, but we'll get into that. We'll get into some of that later. But you have a pretty extensive background in just this, really. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've done for the community, what your history and your job and in law enforcement, and what made you decide to run for constable. You said, they approached you about it, and you were like, well, what, okay.
Okay, so I love to talk about this.
Okay.
So my history is I joined the Air Force in January of 1980 as a cop. Then I was kicked out of the Air Force on my 3rd year because I was gay. That kind of formed a lot of who I am because that was on my DD 214, so I couldn't hide that.
Mhm.
So, when I was young, I came out and I've stayed out. There's a lot of issues that go on with that, so I'm very cautious, and I am a certified victim advocate because I care about all that stuff. But my history was in law enforcement. When I got out of the military, then I went into corrections, and I was a correctional officer, a drill instructor for shock incarceration, a correctional counselor, and then and that's all here. Then I went in and I became a parole officer. I absolutely love that because I was able to look at the person, their family, their acquaintances, put together a picture and try and help them out of that. So that really taught me a lot of, what people are going through that are not in my bubble. In my bubble, I don't know this. So, then I went up to Montana where I went probation and parole. I became a national instructor for probation and parole. And that's where I learned about restorative justice, which is a lot of the problems with people getting out of prison is they have low self-esteem. And
have a hard time getting jobs and finding places to live.
Yes.
And yeah.
So restorative justice kind of gives them an opportunity to give back to victims. And it was very, very successful. We had a thing called Impact of Crime on Victims class, and where actual victims would talk to the offenders. It really was great. So I love programs, and I love seeing what I can do to help make people better. So I came here, started the first restorative justice program for Department of Corrections. My boss said I was too cop-like and sent me to victim advocacy school. So that's why I'm a victim advocate as well. I was chair for the statewide sexual violence coalition. I was on the Chandler Domestic Violence Coalition. Moved here to Tempe and started the first Family Justice Commission. So it's more than domestic violence or sexual assault. It was family issues. And because of that commission, we got an advocacy center. So I was very involved with victim services when I was approached to run for constable because I have the compassion as well as the law enforcement background. And I initially I thought, okay, I was honored to be asked to run for this. And then I tried to quit 3 times, saying, I'm a victim advocate. How can I remove somebody from their house?
Yeah.
So now I am actually running for my 3rd and final term, and I'll tell you why after a drink. What I've seen in other constables, it's just not compassion. It's, here's the deal, get up, go, this is our job. Well, to me, this is my community. So I go in there with compassion and I try and dress down as much as possible and just keep the tension down. I also bring Beanie Babies or some type of toys for the kids so that they're dealing with that.
I think people probably feel, or in the same position as you feel, that it's kind of a cut and dry thing. We know that we have an issue with homelessness. We know that this is a problem and people can't afford to live. And I think, we want to help people, but also you have this idea in your head that not you, but other people may have the idea in their head that, pull yourself up by the bootstraps,
Right.
when that's not necessarily always feasible. so I, being so cut and dry is this is what it is. This is the law. This is what it is. So it's, you want those people to have compassion because like you said, for, people coming out of prison, they do have a hard time. And if you don't
Yeah.
give them the resources to build a life or even, the education to do what they need to do
Move
to
forward.
survive, to move forward, they do go into a life of crime. They are repeat
Right.
offenders.
Right.
And, it's sad that we're in a space where, there are so many people that are low income and unable to pay their rent and unable to survive. And now
Mhm.
things are just getting more and more expensive. Homes are harder to buy.
I'm the cushion between housed and unhoused.
Yeah.
I'm that cushion.
Yeah.
And I will always try to make sure that when I remove them, that they have a roof over their head. I'll ask them if they need resources. Like today, I'll call out resources. It's very important, but it's also important to understand that most of the people that I evict, they destroy the place.
Right.
And you look at it and go, how can you live here when you walk in and the floor is moving? But trauma-informed care, they're doing the best they can with what they have.
Absolutely.
And they might have been raised like that, and that's okay. So what I see, what I have in my bubble is different than what I see. So I come outside of my bubble and I see this, and I really have to do it without judgment. I try to do it with compassion, without judgment. Anybody can have that car repair, have that medical issue, anything, and become homeless. So my job is to get in there and try to see what I can do. Are there resources? If there are, talk with the management. I do a lot of mediation to see what we can do. Okay, if I hold off on this till next week, and they're supposed to, be in some place by Friday, I'll come back on Monday. So I'm able to do a lot of that.
Yeah. So being a victim advocate, a certified victim advocate for, 17-ish years, are there any stories that you can share that really maybe tugged at your heartstrings or maybe really were impactful to you or to the community? Maybe stories of success or stories of, the opposite.
Sure, I'll do one of each. So I'll do the sad one first.
Okay.
And because this is a guy who was a felon, he got out of prison, and he found a job as maintenance in one of the apartment complexes. And the apartment complex right next to it was not crime free, so he was able to find housing there, and he just walked next door for that. The complexes, it's common thing, they go through management changes. When they did, they fired everybody. And so he was a felon who got fired through no fault of his own. He still was fired. So he couldn't get another job. He kept looking and looking. So he couldn't pay his rent. He did tell the manager that he has family out of town, but he has no way to get there. So when they told me that, I'm like skipping to the door going, I've got this. I know what I can do, because the city of Tempe, if you are getting evicted and you have family out of state, as long as they can call and verify that they'll take you, the city will pay for you to get there. So I thought, I've got this. So I get up there, and the night before he had committed suicide.
Hmm.
And I contacted the city manager then and I said, Rosa, people are hopeless. This isn't despair. This is hopelessness. So I'm very concerned about that. And I'm very aware that right now in these times, we're having across the valley, we're having a lot more suicides because of evictions. So we have to, for me, I'm very cautious of how I talk to them and just what I do. Now, a good one is someone was, we had, um, I go up and I knock on the door and it just opens a little bit. So I stay outside and I'm knocking and I'm announcing. I don't hear anything. So I push it and to go in and I see two figures over there. It was light. And as my eyes settled, they were both in like their 90s. And he was behind her carrying the oxygen. And I had said before I realized how old they were, why didn't you answer the door? The guy answered back, ma'am, we were coming. I thought, oh my gosh. And their daughter was in her 50s who took care of them. Well, they had some dementia. The daughter was in the hospital for 5 weeks. And so when they got the eviction notice, the the parents, they had dementia. They didn't know.
Yeah.
So when the daughter came out, here I am to evict them, and I stopped it and I said, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And I told them, you can go in, you can challenge this because you were in the hospital, so you didn't have that opportunity. So you can go ahead and challenge this. And I was there was medical equipment everywhere. Like, there is no way I'm doing this. And so we sent her back to the court and they dropped it. So they were able to stay in there.
That's amazing. I'm sad that those things happen, but amazing that you have good stories as well.
Yeah.
We're here with Karyn Lathan, the constable of the University of Lakes Justice Precinct, yes, that
Justice Precinct.
Thank you.
There you go.
We're talking about what she does. We're going to continue in the next episode. So please follow, like, comment, and share this episode with everyone and everything. Everything. You got me. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next episode.